Hari Om. Reading of English magazine Chinmaya Udghosh CU, issue of the month May 2025. No more tolerance is the cover story. Ganga Saptami considered to be the day when Mother Ganga descended upon earth, following the long and arduous tapas of Bhagirath. The whole Indian civilization thrives on Mother Ganga's lap. She nourishes our soft soils with her water and our lineage with virtues. Mother Ganga is the holiest of rivers. She is celebrated by all equally. This year, Ganga Saptami falls on 3rd May 2025. Har Har Gange. Jaya Gange, Jaya Bhagirathi, Jaya Jaya Ram Dasarathi. Jaya Gange, Har Gange. Devi Sureshwari Bhagavati Gange, Tribhuvana Tarini Taral Tarange, Shankara Mauli Viharini Vimale, Mama Matirastam Tava Padakamale. Editor's note. Dear reader, the terrorist attack at Pahalgam in Kashmir on 22nd April 2025 came as a shock to the nation. The targeted killing of Hindu tourists not just exposed security lapses but also opened a Pandora's box of horrors. It leaves us questioning if we can ever reconcile with the civilizational conflicts that Islamic terrorism presents to the nation. As we offer prayers for the families of the departed souls, we must also re-evaluate as citizens, communities, and through the government how best can we contribute to the peace and development of the region without widening the rifts further. The righteous fight has to be fought and the penetrators have to be brought to justice. Let us also unite aggressively to safeguard a land that's rightfully ours, the land of Rishi Kashyapa, King Lalitaditya, and the seat of knowledge Sharadapit. Team Chinmaya Udghosh CU strongly condemns all forms of terrorism. Our cover marks our solemn vow that we should forget not these innocent lives lost until we are rid of every extremist expression in the country. Love, editors. What is in mind can it be deemed attached to the higher second? You have got a point. Tips to focus on your goal. Read and live fully the duties of the four castes. Live life well, a question of empathy. Ram, the man of Treta Yuga, Marija's end. Beyond the goal, the art of balance, staying composed in the game of life. Chick news, moonlight, cycling, and love and devotion. With love and devotion. India first Pahalgam terror attack byproduct of the 2.5 front war. Mindful whispers, you can do anything. Can you really? Career and you careers in spiritual organizations, a journey of inner growth, real Vedanta, ordinary drama. Readers write Goblin Mode, The Dark Abyss, Let Us Go, The Lord's Colors in Vrindavan, Part 4, Vraja Vrindavan, Lord's Colors in Vrindavan, Part 4, Light-hearted What's Up, Shankara Uvacha, Transforming Indians to Transform India, TITI, Destiny, Chains, Name of Figure It Out, Chains, Name of Swami Chinmayananda, Route to Our Roots, Prayer, Wise Nuggets. Prayers. काशीक्षेत्रं निवासश्च जाह्नवी चरणोदकं गुरुर्विश्वेश्वरः साक्षात् तारकं ब्रह्मनिश्चयः Guru-gita. The Guru's dwelling is the sacred city of Kashi. The water that washes his feet is the holy Ganga. The Guru himself is Vishveshwara, the Supreme Lord of Kashi. He is indeed the liberator. Mind cannot be tamed by Swami Swarupananda. Attached to the higher second part by Swami Swarupananda. A potent element for building up the mind's strength is habit. Often we create, albeit unintentionally, only negative patterns of thinking and behavior. To reverse this, constant and conscious effort must be made to cultivate positive and effective habits of self mastery, regularly keeping direct company of sages or their indirect company through books and discussions is an efficacious way. And because of the very subtle level on which it works, the effects of this method actually last a lifetime, even if they are not apparent on various occasions. Indeed, the mind can be like a dangerous, fast flowing river, shattering huge boulders in its path. Strong negative tendencies can even make the mind torrential, as it were. Hurtful words are then spoken, or wrong actions taken, or poor decisions made, or good opportunities lost. In short, things don't go the optimum way. The important role of habits, mental habits in particular, becomes all the clearer when we consider how frequently and excitedly we devote books such as Effective Habits of Success, and yet no substantial change takes place in us because the mind is so fully inhabited by the past. It has yet to learn to simply drop its weaknesses. Thus, the mind requires the power of positive and dynamic habits, affirmation and reaffirmation. It needs the unadulterated intrinsic peace of a mantra to, to, to purify it. One can choose any mantra, the crest jewel Gayatri mantra, or the Mool mantra from Guru Granth Sahib, or Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. chanting one's favored mantra with regularity and dedication soon becomes a practice that quietens and at the same time charges the mind. Next article, You Have Got the Point by Shri Nisha Setu. Tips to focus on your goal. We are often told we must have goals in life, but is it sufficient to just have goals? Certainly not. Here are some points on how one can stay focused on our goals and work towards achieving them. Break down the goal, recognize the easily achievable parts and meet them first. Draw inspiration from people who have achieved success in the same field. Find like minded peers and discuss plans of action. Regularly assess what has been achieved and what is left. Practice daily prayers that push you towards the goal, such as Hanuman Chalisa. If you are aiming for something related to physical and mental strength, post your achievements on social media. If it helps you stay focused on the path and pushes you to achieve more, don't do this if it starts distracting your work. Next article, Read and Live Fully with Swami Chinmaya. The duties of the four castes. A Brahman is one who practices Shama and Dama, serenity and self control. He practices tapas, the conscious physical self denial, in order to economize the expenditure of human energy and conserve it for reaching the higher unfoldment within is called tapas. It is the duty of a Brahman to keep himself ever clean and pure, to be patient and forgiving, and thus to live without struggling even against the wrong done against one is forbearance. The duty of a Brahman, never harboring any hatred for anyone. He lives equanimously amidst both the good and the bad. He is straightforward in all his dealings, and his uprightness makes him fearless in life. He is afraid of none, and he makes no compromise of the higher calls with the lower murmurings. He is rich both in theoretical knowledge and experiential wisdom. A Kshatriya is a commanding personality who has heroism and vigor of pursuit while meeting the challenges of life. He, having decided to do something, pursues the path and discovers in himself the necessary drive and constancy of purpose to break down all the obstacles until he gains victory or success. A Kshatriya is prompt in coming to decisions and in executing them. Such an individual is industrious and has an enviable perseverance, perseverance. However hazardous may the field of activity be, he will not leave any work incomplete. A Kshatriya is generous and compassionate towards those who are in need of help. He has firm faith in himself and is able to reinforce other frail hearts around him with his self confidence. He wafts all around a fragrance of brilliance and dynamism, electrifying the atmosphere around him. Agriculture, breeding and tending cattle, trade and commerce are the fields in which a Vaishya can function inspiredly and exhaust his imperfections. To work in a spirit of dedication and service is the duty of a Shudra. Not by birth is a man a Brahmin. By cultivating good intentions and noble thoughts, then can we ever aspire to Brahmanhood. Nor can we pose as Brahmin only because of our external physical marks or bodily actions in the outer world. The decisions insists that he alone is a Brahmin who is sattvic as his actions are. For the perfectly healthy life of a society, all castes should not be competitive but cooperative units, each being complementary to the others, never competing among themselves. When each one works thus according to his vasanas and fully devotes his attention to his prescribed duties, he will develop within himself and attain in stages the ultimate perfection. We must analyze and discover the type of vasanas and temperament in each one of us and determine what type of man we are. None belonging to the higher groups have any justification to look down and contempt upon others who are of the lower types. Next article, Ram, the man of Treta Yuga, Chinmaya Udghosh, CU Prakashan, Marichas and Ram is aware that the strange deer of incomparable beauty that approaches them in the forest could well be a decoy or an ogre with vile intentions, but he is aroused by both curiosity and the urge to fulfill Sita's wish to have it. Therefore, he goes after it. Although he flees with a trembling heart, Maricha, who has taken the form of the fine looking deer, manages to lure Sri Ram far away from the cottage, sometimes visibly seized with fear, sometimes leaping into the air, and sometimes disappearing from sight. The terrible ogre who has assumed this deceptive form distance. The strangely lustrous and beautiful deer with glossy skin and a gem-studded body seems to illumine the forest as he darts through the thick woods. The deer keeps fleeing in fright, knowing that it is to be captured. It sometimes mingles with the other herds and then emerges from behind a cluster of trees, evading capture and death. Growing impatient with the futile chase, the beloved of Sita draws a blazing arrow fashioned by Brahma and taking clear aim at the animal, discharges it through the forest. The effulgent missile that resembles lightning pierces the animal, cleaving its flesh as the ogre is in disguise resumes his mammoth form. Mimicking Sri Ram's voice, he cries aloud for Sita. Ram, realizing that an evil plot has drawn him afar, hastens towards the hermitage. Hearing what she thought were her husband's cries, Sita is fraught with anguish. The long, loud, and bitter wail leaves her trembling with fear, and her senses seem to fail. Concluding that her beloved's life is in danger, she requests Lakshman to hasten to his aid in the woods. Lakshman consoles her, reminding her of Sri Ram's might and telling her that no god, Gandharva, or demon could dare or defy him, and therefore he could come to no harm. He insists that he cannot leave Sita alone in the wild woods unless Sri Ram is by her side, since he is under a pledge to protect her while he is away. Told, she even doubts his motives, and with bitter words that sting commands him to leave. A reluctant Lakshman is then forced to leave in search of Ram, albeit with four. A Lakshman Rekha Next article, Live Life Well by K.S. Yashaswini. A question of empathy. This series unravels the dharmic dialogue between Narad Muni and Raja Yudhishthir in the Sabha Parva of Mahabharata. Part 21 saw how a good leader must recognize and validate persons of exceptional merit. Part 22nd follows. We have observed now how Narad Muni gently probed Yudhishthir towards taking the path of Dharma. The sage has given snippets on what are the preferred qualities of a commander, how to strategize against the enemy, what virtues to uphold as a king, and so on. Though those questions seem like a code for a martial lord, we will now see the human aspects of leadership. Narada asks the king two questions, begging for supreme empathy. First, O best of the Pandavas, do you support the wives and children of those who have given their lives for you and those who have fallen into distress for you? He follows it up with, O son of Prutha, do you cherish and as your sons the enemy comes to you from fear, who has become weak and who has sought your protection? The first is something we get to witness even to this day, whether they be our soldiers at the war front or foot soldiers for a noble cause like Karaseva Sevaks for Sri Ram Janmabhoomi. It is the bounden duty of the leader to provide for the family of the fallen. Of course, it is procedural for governments and leaders these days to quickly announce ex gratia amounts for the families of victims of a calamity. But beyond that, do we see if leaders ensure that the surviving families of soldiers are provided with the requisite support for their day to day needs, such as education of children and health care for the elderly? The government of India provides several welfare of my martyrs, including tuition fees, hostel charges, uniform costs, and clothing needs for school going children. There are one time financial grants provided for the widows of the soldiers to pursue higher education or take up skilling for employment. The Navy and Air Force also give grants to cover medical expenses of several elements for the families of the martyrs. This is the best we can do as a country to recognize the supreme sacrifice of those who pledged their lives for our safety and security. But what about foot soldiers who take up a cause and lose their lives in its pursuit? In an era of rising religious tensions and violence, we have seen several sevaks become martyrs because of uncalled violence. Sadly, many of their families continue to live in penury, whether they are of sevaks who toiled for the Ram Janmabhoomi movement or of volunteers who fought against forceful conversion of Abrahamic religious. We are yet to mobilize as a society and provides for their families. Narad's second question is applicable at an individual level as well as in situations of active war. Do we, having any reason for enmity with an individual, accord due respect and courtesy to the family of the person? If we have a rival in our school, college, or office, is it possible for us to treat their near and dear ones without any trace of hostility? In circumstances of war, there are guidelines and international laws that determine how to give refuge to enemy soldiers and refugees from enemy lands. Though a fine example comes from Ramayana, we can as a standard for treating the son of an enemy. While Vali, the Vanar king, was killed by Sri Rama, Angada, Vali's son, was never treated with, with spite or vengeance. In fact, Sri Ram considered him a most trusted messenger to go and negotiate for peace one last time with Ravan. Angad was accorded to all kinds of respect and importance in the army. Further, we have to establish that Angad too never betrayed Ram's trust, fully accepted the ways of Dharma, and served Ram's cause with utmost integrity. In the modern instance, we find refugees piling onto foreign lands, refusing to accept or assimilate the culture of the host and eventually usurping property and engaging in violence because of cultural conflicts. Both the refugee seeker and asylum provider have to be anchored in common goals of righteousness and harmony for peace to prevail. It calls for almost utmost empathy and trust between the two parties. For this, we as humanity need a complete spiritual, intellectual, and emotional reset. Next article, Beyond the Goal by S. Rana Pratap. The art of balance, staying composed in the game of life. Watching an American football match for the first time is an experience like no other. The intensity, the strategy, and the sheer physicality of the game makes it an adrenaline fueled spectacle. Recently, while watching the Detroit Lions clash with the Vikings, I was struck by how the game closely resembles rugby. Players in constant physical contact, battling for every inch of the field. What intrigued me was that amidst the chaos, the athletes managed to stay focused and avoid unnecessary altercations. How do they maintain their composure when tempers could so easily flare? Check when a split second loss of control could cost their team the game. These questions led me to think about the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita and how they provide a profound perspective on staying balanced in the heat of battle, both on the field and in life. The warrior's mindset, discipline over emotion. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna stands on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, conflicted and overwhelmed by emotions. Lord Krishna reminds him of his duty, dharma, and a warrior, and teaches him the importance of self control. One of the most powerful verses that resonate with the game of football and life itself is Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, chapter 2, verse 50. Excellence in action is yoga. An American football, as in life, those who excel are not necessarily the strongest or the fastest, but those who can control their emotions and stay focused on their duty. A player who loses his temper after a rough tackle and retaliates mindlessly, risks a penalty, possibly hurting his team. Similarly, in life, reacting impulsively to challenge without clear thinking can lead to unnecessary consequences. Mastering the art of detachment. Krishna teaches Arjuna the importance of acting without attachment to the result. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन. Chapter 2, verse 47. You have the right to perform your duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Much like warriors, football players must execute their praise with complete dedication, not worrying about the outcome of each move. They cannot afford to dwell on past mistakes, a fumble, a missed tackle, or a bad call. Focused on the present moment, adapting and strategizing without being emotionally burdened by what has already happened. Controlled aggression, the balance of passion and discipline. American football is a sport that demands aggression, but uncontrolled aggression is counterproductive. The Bhagavad Gita warns against the dangers of anger and unchecked emotions. क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः. Chapter 2, verse 63. From anger comes delusion, from delusion, loss of memory, and from loss of memory, destruction of intelligence. A player who lets anger take over take over may lash out. A player who lets anger take over may lash out, commit a foul, or make reckless decisions that could cost the team dearly. In contrast, the most successful players channel their energy constructively, keeping their emotions in check while playing with controlled intensity, staying calm against chaos. Football, like life, is unpredictable. A game can change in seconds, just as life throws unexpected challenges our way. The key to navigating both is equanimity, staying steady whether in victory or defeat. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Chapter 2, verse 48. Equanimity in success and failure is yoga. Just as a quarter under pressure and make split second decisions, we too must cultivate inner stability to handle life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Watching that game, I realized that American football is more than just a physical contest. It is a reflection of the human experience. It teaches resilience, teamwork, and the importance of mental disciplines. The Bhagavad Gita, written thousands of years ago, holds timeless wisdom that applies even in the world of modern sports. Whether on the football field or in life, the ability to stay balanced, control emotions, and focus on the task at hand is what separates the good from the great. And perhaps True victory is not just in winning the game, but in mastering oneself. Next article, Chick News by Saumil Sethna, Chick Mumbai, Moonlight Cycling with Love and Devotion. Chinmaya Kendra Mumbai organized a moonlight cycling event on the night of Saturday, 29th March 2025. The theme was love and devotion. Over 55 youngsters aged between 13 and 28 participated in it. Post prayers and invocations, participants were divided into six teams in which they got familiar with each other with an icebreaker activity and solved a puzzle related to the great bhaktas of Bharat. Everyone started cycling from Varali at 11:30 pm. A quick warm up session near Nehru Planetarium charged everyone up for the long night. Taking the route from Haji Ali and then Wilson College, the group reached the Asiatic Library where they were welcomed by the stars to sit under the open sky on the stairs of the library. Everyone chanted Hanuman Chalisa together and listened to an insightful talk by Yuvavir Vijeta Sharma on the different types of love, the difference between love, lust, love, and devotion was explained, and how the individual gets affected in each of the three scenarios was discussed. After a quick visit to the Gateway of India, everyone reached Marine Drive, where witnessed by the calming sea, everyone sang melodious bhajans sitting by the bay. Participants played dumb charades about various quotes on love and a fun game of dog and the bone. Swami Swatmananda, mentor, Chinmay Mission of the self, surrendering to high forms of love and devotion. Next, everyone cycled back to the starting point in Varadi via the same route, arriving safely by 6 am. Everyone was happy and tired but content. The entire journey was of about 30 plus kilometers. A few participants initially thought they might be unable to complete such a long run. Their joyous faces at the end of the ride said it all. After a final count, everyone departed with joyous memories of the night and a heart full of love and devotion. Next article, What's Up by Pankaj Lohia. Physical artificial intelligence, from traditional artificial intelligence to intelligent machines. Physical AI combines artificial intelligence AI with physical systems like robots and smart devices, allowing them to interact with and adapt to real world environments. It goes beyond software based physical making, enable the software based decision making, enabling machines to think, learn, and act physically. The evolution of AI. Basic AI, rule based systems. Early AI relied on if then rules to perform tasks like answering questions or recommending products. However, these systems couldn't handle complex or unpredictable situations. Agentic AI, AI agents. Agentic AI, artificial intelligence evolved into agentic AI, where systems could observe, plan, and act more independently. Virtual assistants like Alexa and Siri automated tasks but were limited to digital environments. Physical artificial eh, intelligence. Intelligent machines. Physical further by embedding intelligence into machines that, for example, self-driving cars adjust speed based on road conditions and smart prosthetics adapt to user movements. Why physical AI matters? Physical AI is transforming industries such as healthcare, all powered prosthetics and robotic surgery, manufacturing smart robots, enhancing production, and home automation, artificial intelligence, security systems, and robot vacuum improving safety. The future of physical artificial intelligence, as AI and hardware improve, physical AI will become more advanced, allowing machines to adapt and collaborate with humans, making life safer and more efficient. शङ्कर उवाच प्राणादपि को रम्यः कुलधर्मः साधुसङ्गश्च. What should be dearer to one more than even one's life, one's family, traditions, and association with holy men, Kuladharma and Sadhusanga are dearer to one more than even one's life. Next, कराग्रे वसते लक्ष्मीः करमध्ये सरस्वती करमूले स्थिता गौरी प्रभाते करदर्शनम्. At the front of the hand resides Lakshmi, in the middle of the hand dwells Saraswati, at the base of the hand dwells Parvati. At dawn, I perform the darshan of my hands. May the day, therefore, dawn, bringing me all prosperities. Next, transforming Indians to transform India. Kuili was a commander in the army of Madurai's freedom fighter Queen Velu Nachiyar. Kuili was born in the 18th century at Kudanchaudi near Shivagangai district of Tamil Nadu. Long before the revolt of 1857, Kuili led a battalion of 4,000 women who fired cannons against a British fort in the region. Further, she is considered the first woman suicide bomber and martyr in India's freedom struggle. She applied ghee and oil on her body, set herself ablaze, and jumped into the armory of the East India Company, thus securing victory for Rani Velu Nachiyar. A conquest without facing dangers is as dull as victory without a shining glory, again without a prize. So one must be ready to take risk. Names of Swami Chinmayananda. Since in this month his birthday there was there Chinmaya Jnanamurti जगदात्मा जीवन मुक्त कृतात्मा एक गुरु तपस्वी धीमान निरपेक्ष भारत गौरव महर्षि मेधावी श्रोत्रिय सच्चिदानंद. Next article, India First by Sai Teja. Pahalgam terror attack byproduct of the 2.5 front war. Vinay Narwal, a Navy lieutenant, married Himanshi about a week ago. While their initial plan was to go to Switzerland for their honeymoon, they decided to explore the scenic beauty of Pahalgam in Kashmir. Little did Himanshi know that she would have to witness the tragedy of her husband being shot dead by terrorists within a week of her marriage, right in front of her eyes. While their stories differ, the tragedy and the reason why they made such a uh, dastardly fate remains the same for the 26 victims who were killed by terrorists in Pahalgam on 22nd April 2025. Just when the Kashmir region was returning to normalcy, the Pahalgam incident, the deadliest terror attack on tourists in Kashmir since 2000, struck a chord of fear and panic in the hearts of Indians. Initiatives such as completing the reconstruction work of 17,601 kilometer of roads or operationalization of two new AIIMS 7 new medical colleges, two state cancer institutes, 15 nursing colleges, and estimated creation of employment for 5.2 lakh persons through self-employment schemes had put Kashmir on the path of peace and prosperity. Tourism had also exceptionally surged. The number of tourists to Kashmir from 5.7 lakhs in 2024. Apart from this, effective counter-terrorism initiatives taken by the central government in the past decade have helped in curtailing violence in Kashmir. In March, two Hurriyat affiliated organizations severed ties with separatism in Jammu and Kashmir. While such measures have slowly started to erode the remnants of separatism and terrorism from the social fabric of Jammu and Kashmir, the terrorist attack on Hindus in Pahalgam comes across not only as an aberration but also as a physical ploy to revive the horrors of social incohesion and terror in the region. To all those who aim to create fault lines through language, politics, and ideological differences, the modus operandi of the terrorists in Pahalgam should be a wake up call. The victims were not asked which state they belonged to. They were not asked which language they spoke. They were not asked which party they voted for before being shot. They were asked only one question. The answer to which sealed their fate. They were inquired about their religion, and the moment they revealed that they were Hindus, they were shot to death. While the Indian government has started its plan of retaliation against Pakistan, which continues to support terrorist organizations such as Lashkar-e-Taiba. It is also the responsibility of the Indian citizens to stay united and not fall for petty propaganda. Unlike what the polarized sections of society suggest, this is not the time to engage in a full fledged war or to remain in a state of inaction under the pretense of maintaining peace. A full fledged war will slow down India from fully capitalizing on the global trade war, and not retaliating will position India on a weak as a weak country. As the Indian government has rightly taken stringent retaliatory measures such as suspending the Indus Water Treaty, clarifying Pakistani officials in India as persona non grata for closing the Atari Wagah border. It is our duty as Indian citizens to beware of anti India elements that continue to exist amidst us and spread awareness against them. As a former General Bipin Rawat rightly put it, India is fighting a 2.5 front war. This means while India is fighting the two primary external adversaries, Pakistan and China, there is also the danger posed by internal anti India elements, which he referred to as point 0.5. These elements engage in a multifaceted war by spreading radicalization, separatist sentiment, and insurgency with the Indian state. While India is progressing towards socio-economic progress, it is important as citizens of this country to contribute to the best of our capabilities in fighting the 2.5 front war which India is fighting. As Indians contributing to India's socio-economic progress and remaining alert against internal anti-national elements alongside resolute governmental action will alone ensure that India stands first. Next article, Mindful Whispers. You can do anything. Can you really? By K.S. Yashaswini. Right? Wrong. In February this year, two seemingly unrelated things got me on a thinking and reflection spree. First up, something which caught national attention, a satirical improv and dark humor show shot to infamy thanks to some crass remark by the esteemed panel of famous stand-up comics, podcasters, and social media influencers. The remarks were derogatory to the very structure of an Indian family, the cornerstone of our society. In no way were the comments funny or entertaining. It was rightly flagged as such. Immediately, online and social activists pushed local governments into registering cases against the panelists. Soon enough, not just that episode, but every other episode of the show was taken down. All the panelists tendered unconditional public apologies. We wait to see if the cases against them will be dropped and if they can ever face the public with the same dignity or brand value as before. The second event was something that occurred at a semi personal level. I was traveling on a flight from Varanasi from attending the Mahakumbha to attending a dear friend's wedding. Across the aisle from me on the flight were three gentlemen, probably in their 40s. One seemed like a foreigner, and the other two were Indian. The Indian men took it upon themselves to give the foreigner a lowdown on Goa, things to do, places to visit, food to eat, etc. After talking about Goa's famous beaches, the man went on to say, you know, in Goa, you can get drinks, alcohol anywhere. It's quite easy. The foreigner replied, what do you mean? One of them replied, there are drinks everywhere, in shops, in shacks, at cafes, anywhere on the road. Goa is quite open, It is not like other Indian states. You can drink anywhere in Goa. The foreigner continued with a smirk. You can do anything in Goa, in fact. All three of them sniggered. Can you, in fact, do anything in Goa? When I recounted this incident to resident Goan friends, they shook their heads in dismay, and sure enough, they all commented, "We are 100% certain that the men who said things were not Goan. I have several friends from Goa. Goa is only a place for debauchery. Reckless partying is not what the holiday destination is about. Goa has much more to offer. True entertainment and leisure might be cheaper and far more accessible here, but who grants people the right to do anything they want, anywhere they want?" Between these two events, my mind kept going to Swami Chinmayananda's most prescient passage from the book Kindle Life. Swamiji draws a fundamental difference between freedom and licentiousness. He writes, places to visit, food to eat. Where it is? He writes, the essential nature of man being absolute freedom, he detests any shackles being put on him. To him, injunctions like a red rag on a bull to a bull. Therefore, he revolts against the idea of any spiritual practice of self denial. Little does he realize that freedom is essentially built on intelligent self restraint and discipline. For instance, the traffic lights on our roads are undoubtedly a restraint that laid down by the government on our freedom, but such restraint alone lends meaning to the freedom of movement and checks its degradation into licentiousness. Should we count only on laws, police, and courts to keep us in check? Should society bring back stigma, reproach, and moral policing to keep our tongues and indulgences in check? This is where spirituality and religion matter. Of what is right and wrong and keeps us on a path of virtue and discipline. Just because we can say anything and do anything, should we? There is plenty to reflect on between what is freedom and licentiousness, and how we easily lose sight of the former and slip into the abyss of the latter. Anyway, it was a completely different experience for me in Goa this time around, as opposed to what the men said. I avoided the beaches and pubs and went to some of the lesser known temples in Goa. What a treat to the mind, eye, and the body. You can actually do anything in Goa, like visiting a Mahadev temple standing the test of time over 12 centuries. Next article, Career and You by Jyotika Sehra. Careers in spiritual organizations, a journey of inner growth. In a world that increasingly emphasizes material success, careers in spiritual organizations offer a unique pathway that prioritizes inner growth and personal fulfillment. These roles focus on nurturing the soul, fostering a community, and contributing to a greater purpose along with the conventional success of salaries. Spiritual organizations in India include spiritual retreat places, yoga centers, and religious institutions. There are several unique places which combine different cultural practices to enhance one's experience of such institutes. Roles and opportunities in spiritual organizations. Although it may seem that spiritual institutes may not have well defined roles for individuals, there are highly structured spiritual institutes which offer unique yet exciting roles. The following are some of them. Teaching and mentoring roles include teaching spiritual practices, guided meditation, or providing personal mentorship. With an increase in mental health issues, the demand for such roles is on the rise. Event coordination, organizing spiritual events, retreats, and workshops which require event management skills. Administration and management, managing day to day operations, finances, and resources of spiritual centers. Accounting, structured organizations have departments similar to any commercial organization. Hence, the role of an accountant is important in these institutes. Content creation, developing spiritual contents for books, websites, and social media platforms with the growing need for connecting with young audience who are used to consuming content via social media platforms and in a bite size format. It is imperative for spiritual institutes to have engaging content and Hari Om. We see in the next session further. Counseling, providing spiritual counseling and guidance to individuals seeking resolution of life's challenges. Skills and attributes for success in spiritual organizations. Success in spiritual organizations requires specific qualities and skills such as spiritual commitment, a deep personal commitment to spiritual growth, and the principle of the organization. empathy and compassion, the ability to understand and support others on their spiritual journeys, communication skills, the capability to communicate spiritual concepts clearly and inspire others, organizational skills, managing events, activities, and day to day operations effectively, patience and perseverance, the ability to maintain composure and dedication in challenging situations. Working in spiritual organizations offers unique growth opportunities. Inner growth, continuous personal development through spiritual practices and teachings, leadership development opportunities to take on leadership roles and guide others in their spiritual journey, holistic well-being, working in environments that emphasize mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. Challenges. Challenges and considerations. While careers in spiritual organizations can be deeply fulfilling, they are not without challenges. These roles often require a high level of emotional intelligence and resilience as they involve dealing with sensitive and sometimes difficult situations. Additionally, the financial rewards in spiritual careers may not match those in more conventional fields, which can be a consideration for those with significant financial responsibilities. Furthermore, the nature of spiritual work can sometimes blur the lines between personal and professional life. This can be both a blessing and a challenge as it requires maintaining personal boundaries while staying deeply engaged in one's work. For those who are drawn to these roles, the rewards can be profound, leading to a balanced and fulfilling life that is aligned with their deepest values and beliefs. While the path may come with its own set of challenges, the potential for personal transformation and the change to contribute to the greater good make it a compelling and enriching career choice. Next article, Real Vedanta by Aishwarya Nair. Ordinary Angels, a heartwarming drama. Helen Keller once said, hope sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. This sentiment is the very essence of Ordinary Angels, a 2024 American drama film. Directed by John Gunn and written by Meg Tilly and Kelly Fremon Craig, this film has been inspired by events from the 1994 North American Cold Wave. The film features a stellar cast that includes Hilary Swank, Alan Richson, Nancy Travis, and Tamala Tamala Jones. And brings to life a powerful story of perseverance and kindness. Stevens, unlike your typical girl next door, docile heroine, heroine is a spirited hairdresser with a bit of a wild side living a life full of spontaneity and energy. But beneath her vibrant exterior lies a heart yearning for purpose. One night, after a bout of drinking and an uneasy attempt at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the US primarily, this is a fellowship of people who come together to solve their drinking problem and is open to anyone who wants to do something to achieve sobriety. Sharon comes across a news story about Michael Schmidt, a 5-year-old girl in urgent need of a liver transplant after losing her mother. Deeply moved, she attends the funeral and introduces herself to the grieving family, offering to help in any way she can. Michael's widowed father, Ed, is a man weighed down by grief and responsibility, played with quiet intensity by Alan Richardson. He is shown to love his daughters fiercely but feels helpless against the mounting medical bills and the crushing weight of his loss. He isn't looking for a savior, but upon meeting him, Sharon's determination towards her newfound purpose is relentless. She charges into his life like a force of nature, rallying the community, cutting through red tape, and proving that even in the darkest times there's room for extraordinary kindness, something that has been, is, and always will be relevant to humanity. As she becomes increasingly involved in their lives, she forms a deep bond with his family, drawing parallels to the family that she herself has fractured. Across cultures, we admire those who step up to help others, even when they have nothing to gain. Sharon's relentless determination and selfless service mirror figures like Hanuman from Hinduism, who moved mountains for Ram and Lakshman, just as Sharon moves heaven and earth to save Michael. Its quiet resilience may remind us of Sudama, Krishna's childhood friend, whose endurance through hardship and faith eventually brings unexpected aid. The town's collective efforts to help the Smith family highlight the universal truth that kindness and unity can create miracles. Sharon's transformation is reminiscent of the parable of the prodigal son, LK 15.11.32, given her journey of redemption and purpose that echoes across various spiritual and philosophical beliefs. She is not without flaws. Her battle with alcoholism resurfaces at a critical moment, leading to a painful falling out with aid. It is only after this wake up call that she begins to take her own healing seriously, committing fully to sobriety and seeking reconciliation with her estranged son. Meanwhile, as Michael's condition worsens, the film builds to a poignant climax a desperate race against time to get to a hospital in Omaha, Omaha amidst a paralyzing snowstorm. What follows is a testament to faith, resilience, and the extraordinary power of human connection. The cinematography bathes the story in a warm glow, emphasizing both the bitter cold of the setting and the warmth of human connection. Swank delivers one of her most engaging performances, while Richardson's portrayal of Ed is deeply moving, delivering a perfect counterbalance to Sharon's unyielding energy. The film doesn't preach, instead, it portrays faith as a quiet, guiding force that reveals itself through action, through love, service, and community. Something every faith movement and society should ideally stand for. It reflects the idea found in many traditions that grace often comes not through grand miracles but through ordinary people choosing to do extraordinary things. Next article. Readers write by Atharva Krishna, Chinmaya International Residential School, CIRS, Goblin Mode, The Dark Abyss. The world is filled with people who try their best to fit in, work hard, and conform to society's definition of perfect. In such times, exceptions tend to be very, very rare. These outliers are either those who prove society's parameters of perfection to be drastically incorrect, or those who prefer to live in a world of their own creation. In fact, such a state of blissfully independent existence even has a name now, goblin mode. The Cambridge Dictionary defines this term as the behavior of someone who wants to feel comfortable and do and eat whatever they want, not caring about trying to be clean, healthy, or attractive, or about pleasing or impressing other people. While this state of being might serve as an attractive short term solution, preventing one from succumbing to external stress and other pressures, it is definitely not the best recipe for the long term well being or success of an individual. When someone enters gobbling mode, they blatantly defy societal practices and customs that have taken shape over centuries of humanity's evolution. Also, habits and practices that are required to live a healthy and serene life are also sidelined in this frankly debaucherous lifestyle. Simply put, what differentiates a normal human from someone living in goblin mode is not their habits per se, but the extent to which they take these habits. For example, consider the simple practice of taking a bath every day. Someone in gobbling mode would not bathe for weeks at a time just because he feels like it. Thus, gobbling mode can be as harmful to a person's health as it is to his mindset. Goblin mode is an unhealthy state of self indulgence that can cause a human to live completely disconnected from the world outside. However, a person can easily resist falling into this spiral of self destruction through simple discipline and intelligent self restraint. The simplest method is motivation, not just the external kind but the internal sort as well. Motivation is that uplifting feeling which keeps you going no matter the circumstances. It can be found while striving for a greater ideal or by setting realistic goals to keep you working steadily. Also, many slow down the gradual changes must be made on a personal level to exit gobbling mode. These can include changes in routine or the establishment of balance between comforts and necessities. Getting physically active through regular exercise also goes a long way in promoting positive mental health, arresting one's fall into goblin mode. In conclusion, gobbling mode is a state of being that puts us and the world around in a state of continuous retardation. Hence, it is the need of the hour that such unchecked self indulgence be kept under control at all times for our growth and development as individuals. Next article, Let Us Go by Rohini Manohar. The Lord's Colors in Vraja Vrindavan Part 4. Holi, the festival of colors, is celebrated with immense fervor and zeal across India. But one of the most spectacular celebrations takes place at the Banke Bihari temple in Vrindavan, Uttar Pradesh. Holi celebrations in a temple, you ask? Yes. Better than anything you could have experienced in your life. My friends and I decided to go to Vrindavan to experience the celebration of Holi. Google says this is the best place in the world to celebrate, so we had to go see what the hype was all about. About 20 of us packed our bags and flew to Delhi, from where we took a 3 hour cab ride to Vrindavan, a place where love is visible. You see, Krishna is not just God here. He is their son, their child, their neighborhood hero. Everyone talks of him almost like family. So, the celebration of Holi, which they say was started between Krishna and Radha, is one you have to come and witness. History of Holi at Bake Bihari Temple. The Bake Bihari Temple is one of the most renowned and powerful temples dedicated to Lord Krishna, situated in Vrindavan. The temple holds a unique place in the hearts of devotees because this is apparently the place where Lord Krishna appeared to Swami Haridas. When Swami Haridas When Swami Haridas asked for Krishna to stay, the idol was what he left behind. The idol was first worshipped in Nidhivan, a place that is associated with the playful and mischievous aspects of Sri Krishna's life, especially his love for Radha. According to the mythological tales, Sri Krishna is said to have celebrated Holi in the forests of Nidhivan with his devotees, marking the festival as a time of joy, fun, and divine love. Once the Bake Bihari temple was constructed, the idol was moved there. The tradition of celebrating Holi at the Banke Bihari temple goes back several centuries. The atmosphere, crazy yet amazing. As Holi approaches, kaleido- kaleidoscope, kaleidoscope, kaleidoscope of colors, music, and joy. On the day of Holi, Banke Bihari temple becomes a focal point of the are filled with eager devotees, both locals and tourists, ready to immerse themselves in the celebration. People stand in long snake like queues just to see Shri Krishna. The crowd is humongous, but so is the joy and excitement. As we stood in line chatting away, fell on us from one of the houses above. The celebrations had begun and there was no escape. At first, we all tried to hide and escape the color being thrown. But as we moved in the queue towards Bhagwan, we learned to surrender to the madness, the chaos, and the colors being thrown at us from every direction. By the time we made our way to the temple entrance, barefoot, colored, and hoping for a moment of peace and quiet inside, we were shocked. We could hear the sound of traditional holy songs, devotional chants, and the loud cheers of participants from inside the temple. We nudged our way in. As we tried to catch a glimpse of little Bake Bihari, two pandits appeared with two large plates of gulal, colored powder. They chanted Krishna's name and threw the color on all of us. Holy inside a temple, I was shocked as the gulal fell on my nose and hair. I stood in shock. A bucket of water soon landed on all of us. The entire temple courtyard erupted into a riot of colors, with pinks, greens, yellows, and reds covering every surface. The beauty of the celebration lies in its spontaneity and madness. It truly helps let go of the ego of me and my dress and embrace the moment. Why it is amazing. Holi at the Banki Bihari temple is much more than just a traditional festival. It's a chance to witness the spiritual connection between devotees and Lord Krishna, expressed in the most exuberant and colorful way possible. The joy, the madness, and the vibrant chaos may seem overwhelming at first, but there is an undeniable beauty in the way people come together regardless of background, religion, and nationality and experience the pure joy of the festival. Destiny by Rukma Sadekar. Aries. Uncontrolled anger not only damages our physical and mental health but also destroys our relationship with others. It's normal to feel angry, but an overwhelming rage that pushes us to let loose is not a good sign. When you feel the anger rising, take a walk, stretch, take slow, deep breaths. Try to see things from other perspectives and find better ways to respond. Taurus. According to Ayurveda, summer time is Pitta season and that affects our metabolism and heats up the mind and body, affecting our emotions, body and behavior. No wonder we get angry and impatient. Our skin is sweaty and sensitive and we are driven to overwork. Avoid spicy and salty foods. Instead, opt for foods that cool watermelon, cucumber, pineapple, everything that is seasonal. Gemini. Anger is really a messenger that something is not right. Before you react, ask yourself exactly what is bothering you right now. Use the anger as an indication that something can and should be changed to improve things in the future. Working to right a wrong is life affirming and positive. Stewing in a bad situation without taking action is the opposite. This was Gemini, no Cancer. We feel happier at certain times than others, but that doesn't mean that we can't find a consistent pattern of contentment and gratitude in our life. First of all, learn to love yourself. That is an important step towards happiness because it means you have accepted yourself for who you truly are. That satisfaction will increase your contentment and confidence. Leo, be alert to falling for the all or nothing mentality, which only further fires our fuse. Pinch yourself every time you hear yourself using the words never or always. Accept that sometimes life is unfair and that the person making you angry sometimes does the wrong thing. Avoid phrases like always late or never on time. Virgo, time to cool down. Temperatures are rising all around, and that's all the more reason for you to keep your cool in more ways than one. Cool off in the swimming pool, stay hydrated, use a cap and sunglasses when out in the daytime. Above all, think cool thoughts, stay cool, you can. Libra, we all have a choice. We can choose our own path in life. As the Green Goblin says in Spider Man, we are who we choose to be. Who or what do you choose to be? Take your time, explore, and choose well. Better a delayed choice than a wrong one. Scorpio, now is the time to reveal the chilled out side of your personality. As temperatures soar, brains get cooked and arguments get heated. The scorpion must stand apart and exude a cool persona. Don't let the heat get to you. Stay hydrated, keep your head covered except and enjoy the summer instead of fighting it. Sagittarius. There should be no boundaries to human endeavor. We are all different. However, bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. While there is life, there is hope. That's my favorite line from The Theory of Everything. Read it over and over. Does it ring a bell for you? Capricorn. As is the mind, so is the body. To feel cooler, lower, and temperature of your mind and not just of the AC. The best way is meditation. Build it into your routine for regularity, or listen to beautiful music, take a walk in nature, or practice conscious breathing to soothe the mind and heart. Aquarius. Nothing like a good laugh to beat the heat away. Find a reason to laugh or be funny yourself and spread cheer around. It will eventually come full circle to engulf you. To get yourself rolling, catch hold of an old comedy show like Lucy, or a funny movie or a book of funnies. Laugh and make others laugh. Pieces. The fish in cool waters has no reason to get heated up. No matter how hot the weather is, go swimming. It will not only help you chill out, you will also get fit and strong without having to sweat it out. Besides, the regulated breathing calms the mind. No better exercise than swimming. Go take a splash. Chinmaya Yuva Kendra. All India Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, Youth Wing of Chinmaya Mission Worldwide, has organized a international convention, Be There, for harnessing youth potential. International Youth Convention. There will be learning, theatre, cultural performances, group discussions, socializing, games and funs, etc. Ages 18 to 28 years. Venue is Chinmay Vibhuti Pune. Dates are 28th to 31st May 2025. And here it is an invitation to join DIY 50. What is it? A 50-week social media challenge marathon began on 1st January 2025. DIY, not just do it yourself, but digitally inspiring youth. How does it work? Every Wednesday on the @Chick India and @Chick Mumbai Instagram pages, a new challenge will be released. These challenges are carefully curated around three core themes: culture, dharma, connecting with values, traditions, and heritage; country, India, exploring and contributing to the nation's growth; and self, you, building mindfulness, confidence, and inner strength. Celebrating 50 years of Chinmay Yuva Kendra. Complete the weekly challenge and share your experience through Instagram stories or reels. Don't forget to tag us. Follow it at Chick Mumbai, Chick India. Who can join 13 to 35 years. Register. So DIY Dharma India You, digitally inspiring you. Do it yourself. And here it is, 15th batch of Youth Empowerment Program YEP 2025, a value-based leadership program for graduates up to 28 years. YEP, learn for 3 months, serve for 10 months, grow for life. 50th year of Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, 75th year of Chinmaya Mission, June 15, 2025 to August 16, 2026. Systematic study, interactive workshops, networking opportunities, residential training sessions, personal growth, inspiring adventures, heritage discovery, serving the nation, self acceleration. And this finishes the reading of the magazine Chinmaya Udghosh CU, which is available in hard copy form or an app in mobile. Chinmaya Udghosh, published from Chennai. Hari Om. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।